like I was saying, not everybody's going to be doing light work, and that's okay. We understand the light better because of the shadow, why it's necessary, why it's needed, sorry. And when I did shadow work, still doing it, hello, I don't think that shit ever ends, man. But in doing that work, I see why it's important for me to show up in my power, to show up in the light, to show up and express myself in a certain way. Because I know what that darkness is. I know what it feels like. I know what it looks like. I know what it sounds like. I've seen it clearly. Seen it in real life, and I've seen it in my dreams. I've experienced it. It has scared me. It has fascinated me. It has challenged me. I was having this conversation recently because she friend with my friend, because she finally watched Stranger Things, and I was talking about Will, and I was like, I really want to see what they're gonna do for season 5, because Will needs to embrace himself. When he embraces himself holistically, that part of him, right, that's fighting. I keep saying the mind flayer, but we have like a different name, but I'm still gonna say it. That's a part of him now, right? That energy is a part of him, and he just has to find a way to master it. If this thing is a part of you now, this darkness is a part of you, right? If we cannot eradicate it, right? If you cannot extract it, you have to find a way to master it. It can see you. We'll say, okay, fuck yeah, I can see you too. I know what the fuck you are, bitch. I know what the fuck you are. And I think once, but I was telling my friend this too, once he embraces who he is, once he stands in his power, accepts his feelings, and all that he is, his sensitivity, every single thing, every element of himself, and okay, we gonna get into it, but um, once he accepts that, when it comes to that element, that shadow element that's there existing, there is room for mastery. I hope I see it in season 5. I know they may not necessarily focus on it, but I hope they focus on his mastery of that energy. But the same thing, what I wanted to say was the same thing applies, right? When something shows up in you and it feels distant, or it feels like something that never goes away, just look at it. What is that? Who are you? What are you? Why are you here? Right? And most of the times, what you'll realize in doing shadow work is, oh, this is a version of me that has transformed into something else that's unrecognizable, and it aches, it weighs, it's heavy, but it's me. Most of the times, it's you. I'll share something with you. A lot of times where I thought it was negative energy, or sometimes there are outside voices, but before I could claim that, I really had to look at myself and say, okay, Burst, but is that just you? And it may not necessarily be a thing of you putting out that energy, but it's also a thing of acceptance. What you allow to your space, right? What you allow to get close to you, what you allow to navigate your waters, to what you allow to be a part of your experience. Period. So yeah, so shadow, light, all a part of each other, all exist within that realm together, and everybody has a placement in that. And that's something that I'm really going to start talking about. Not really going to start talking, that's something I'm going to start talking about once again, when it comes to this generational curse breaking work and shadow work. That everybody has a placement, just like a job, just like a career. I've mentioned this so many times. Everybody has a role, everybody has placement and showing up in show everybody has a role. Everybody has a job, everybody has placement, and there's a specific way each one of us has to show up. And sometimes it's the antagonist. Sometimes I know people make the joke of, oh, if I'm the villain, we're supposed to be villains, right? Because villain is a very, whenever you watch shows, what do you recognize about the villain? The villain always has a story. Does it excuse what the villain does? Not necessarily. And sometimes you realize, oh shit, this is not even a villain. This is just somebody. This is a bitch with a backstory, right? So it's just one of those things where it's perspective, point of view, and but it's okay. We can call it shadow. It all exists in the shadow. because I think the point of shadow is that it's, it's a mirror, right? It's the mirror. It's the darker mirror that you can't quite make out the features, and when you start doing the work, it's like, oh, and that's where you come into the light and you understand what's going on. Um, yeah. Okay, I think that's all I have to say on that. Either way, sorry, we're back in the shadow. Um, and we're talking about insecurities, challenges, moving through certain things, generational curse breaking, things of darker nature, very much eighth house energy. Eighth house energy. I live in that realm. I sometimes I and I talk about this so often. Sometimes I'm like, damn, but I really do. I live in the eighth house, and I don't want that to be translated as something, negative or scary, or something that I'm taking ownership over. But and when I say taking ownership, sometimes we take ownership of things and it translates into a bigger energy that we don't necessarily need to take on. But I do, there is a lot of eighth house energy on my chart, but what I'm really speaking to is things of a taboo nature. I can often provide nuance on them. Things of a darker nature, I can often provide nuance on them. And I I understand things at baseline. I have practiced critical thinking about things, broke down things in my life, deconstructed things that no longer served me, deconstructed ideas and thoughts and feelings that limit me. So, I also very much 10th house energy, right? 4th house energy. Got a lot of 4th house energy. Cancer. Got a lot of 4th house energy on my chart. Um, yeah. Anyway, there's just specific energies that I feel very tapped into and that allow me to express that nuance. That 8th house really takes me into the it can be scary. It really can be scary delving into that and being like, oh my God, there's just something I was thinking about. Why? Like, I'm still here. And when I'm reading my work, I have a lot of poetry. And when I'm reading it or going over, I'm like, damn, this is, Merce, like, are you? And it's like, girl, it's not about you. And this, you wrote this about you, and this is your, darker experience, or you don't even have to look at it like that. It's just what you experienced. But it's real. It's real. And I have to tell myself this all the time. This is real. You live this. And I think it's because it can get exhausting expressing or rereading my poems. And also I have this level of perfectionism when it comes to articulating my work. Like, now, please, I cannot deal with myself. If I mess up a word, if the is not clear, like yesterday I was stuck on a the. I was like, that is not, Merce, say that properly. The. Open your mouth. So I kind of have this perfectionist way of approaching when I articulate my poetry now. But it's not about me, is what I have to keep telling myself. And I could take breaks, but it's not too much. I'm like, oh my God, is this too much shadow? Is this too much eighth house? Is this too much darkness? Is this too much? It's like, you live here, and not in a bad way. It's just, this is your realm of articulation, your realm of truth. Keep mastering it. Keep mastering it and keep speaking on it. Keep expressing it. Keep being it. You will come out on the other side every time. And that has been true of me. I always come out on the other side. Period. And when dealing with, because you deal with your own negative energy, but you also deal with outside energy, right? Which I have dealt with. When dealing with that, same thing that me and my friend were talking about. When something is looking at you and saying, I can see you, bitch. You trying to fight? Be like, yeah, I'm trying to fight. I'm here. I'm good. Because this is me. You don't get me. You don't get me. I got me. You don't get to have me. I have me. Right? And I know who I am very clearly, very grounded, very much here. Anyway, that's enough of that. So we went into the shadow realm. So look out for the new series. And it's none of your business. It's none of your business. Okay, I gotta go. I love you guys. I hope this reaches the right people.